Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I got Alice's restaurant playing in the background. It's a Thanksgiving staple, something my father and I used to look forward to at about noon every year on, I think it was WTIC. But happy Thanksgiving, coming to you from the man cave before we head out to Connecticut. I got my Lucky Barry Sanders jersey on. We'll get to see if the Lions will be so lucky today. But first, we want to give a midweek migraine recap. We kind of combined them into two this week because we have so many games on Thursday. So it's an exciting time. I'm actually going to turn down Alice because I didn't realize Arlo was going to be so powerful with his bass baritone voice. So week 12 we are on to. All the teams are done with the byes. Really kind of shaping up. As many of you are seeing, it's a war of attrition in the NFL. You could have a great team. You could have a great coach. You could have a great scheme. But as guys start to fall, who steps in and who starts to make differences? This is usually when we see teams separate themselves, and when we also see teams that have some adversity either overcome that adversity or fall victim to it. So let's just go a quick recap on what the league looks like. New England goes to 10-0 last week. Next man up. They just seem to keep getting it done. I think it'll be very difficult for them this week on the road in Denver. We're going to have to pick that game. I think New England's getting points, but I just don't like the unsettledness. Well, I'll have to think about it. Should be a great game. Then you have, playoff picture here. Cincinnati at 8-2. Cincinnati looked pretty sound last week on the road. Granted, they lost, but I was very impressed with their performance. It was a nice bounce back effort. I didn't think Dalton would play as well as he did. They seemed to be all right. Like I said, that blip in the map, I wasn't worried about it. But they really did prove a lot to me in terms of being able to go into a tough place to play. That was a Super Bowl preview, my friends. That could definitely come in. Denver, Brock Osweiler, birthday last week, gets his first win, comes in for Peyton. Kubiak can kind of run the offense the way he needs to run it now, his offense, instead of catering to Peyton. It could be a good thing for him, but at the same time, you got a rookie quarterback in there, somebody that's unfamiliar with the speed of the game. And Denver's defense is going to have to continue to keep them in games. So we'll see what happens this week when the Pats come to town. Then you got Indy, one of my upset specials. Last week came in huge. They're at 5-5 now. They're in first place. You also have the Houston Texans looming with a big win over the Jets. But Indy looks to me to be a team that can figure it out. I think they've been through this before. They have a lot of good team leadership, whether it be from Andrew Luck or Coach Pagano. You also have you got to remember Ahmad Bradshaw has won a Super Bowl before. You got Andre Johnson with all the leadership he brings from the Texans, and this is a guy that struggled every year. Now he's on a team that really has a chance. So Frank Gore, another winner along his tour. So you have some guys that they can rally around. I like Indy. I like Matt Hasselbeck. They looked great last week in terms of just staying in that game. Atlanta looks to just be fading away. Pittsburgh was on a bye last week. They come back fully loaded. They go to Seattle. It won't be easy to do, but I think that they can certainly score some points out there. Seattle's defense, although stout at times, seems to be vulnerable also. I think with that high-powered offense, it seems to me that nobody can prevent Ben Roethlisberger from getting Antonio Brown the ball. He just seems to be unbelievable when those two are on the field together. And then you have Kansas City. This was a team that I was saying that they can make a run. Andy Reid, I love him. I always will go with a coach down the stretch. Coaches, quarterbacks, you take a step back, you kind of see what you're working with, and then things happen. Derek Anderson sneaks in a dozen years ago. Guys get in. I remember Quincy Carter these guys make the play. Jake Delhomme. I mean, he had a Super Bowl run, but not necessarily speaking. Typically, great quarterbacks, great coaches are the ones that take that next step to the next level. I'm blowing up right now. So Kansas City, I like them. Their defense is sound. They're starting to turn the corner, and it seems to me that anybody can run that ball in that offense, whether it's whether it's Sharkandrick West. They had the success with Jamal Charles. If they could get the passing a little bit more involved, Kelsey back involved. But Alex Smith doesn't turn over the ball. So bodes well for Kansas City. Teams on the outside, Houston, I love them. Their defense gets better every week. Their offense finding its way. Hoyer back under center starting this week. Then you have Buffalo, who has beaten the Jets, just lost to the Patriots, but ahead of the Jets in the tiebreaker. They could go either way. They're a team that, let's see how they deal with the adversity. Let's see how they deal with Rex Ryan's first tour. There's some players on there that want to win, as there is with every team. But Buffalo, a team that's been absent from the playoffs for over a decade, let's see if they can pull it together in terms of internally in their organization and get it going. The Jets. The rumor has it from Muhammad Wilkerson that Todd Bowles ripped them apart, and I can't imagine that after the game. Todd Bowles just doesn't seem like that kind of guy, but apparently so. He did. Let's see if that inspires the Jets. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, what was that at the end of the game? Just giving away. And that's what kills me about the Jets is I know they're not that great a team, but when you see your team get opportunities and then just waste them continually, whether it was the Bills game, I think of the Pats game, a couple drop balls there, a couple missed opportunities, and then most recently this Houston game. They just look sloppy, and sloppy teams don't make it to the playoffs. Oakland coming back down to reality. They're going to be a good team in the future. Also with Jacksonville 4-6, still in the mix in that AFC South. You can't rule out a 4-6 team in the South. They're still around and headhunting. And then at 12, you have Miami at 4-6 also. They play the Jets this week. They could turn the tables, be 5-6, Jets 5-6. I mean, then, a couple things need to happen for them in terms of Pittsburgh and Kansas City. But, Dolphins still in it as well. Now let's go over to the NFC real quick. You got Carolina, who goes to Dallas today. Should be an excellent game. Cam, this is what I just love this guy. I mean, he's doing all the right things for the kids. He's always got a smile on his face. He always seems to say the right thing. I mean, there was a lot of flack on this guy. Remember, he was at Florida, then had to go to junior college and get picked up by Auburn. We all have our history. We all have our past. And he seems to be one that's really embraced the challenge of not only living up to his potential, but also, I love, everybody says, oh, no regrets, live no regrets. A true man can look back at or a woman can look back at their history and take a step back and be critical of some of the decisions they've made or choices they've made. And I think Cam can do that, and you're really seeing a maturation process of him becoming mature and an MVP candidate for the Carolina Panthers. Should be a tough game today, though. Then you got Arizona. This is a favorite team of mine. Good offensive line, good defense, good quarterback, good running game. I mean, they could be a team. And right now, some things need to happen to Carolina. Their path is a little easier than Arizona's. But Arizona's going to be getting possibly a bye and certainly some home games. So Arizona, tough to play there. As long as Carson's upright, I like Arizona's chances. Then Green Bay, huge game for them tonight. Big win last week. I didn't think they'd have it in them. I kind of went against the grain. Everybody's like, how can you pick against the Packers? Do you think they're going to lose that many times in a row? I believe in Minnesota. I got some Minnesota friends. I wanted to back them, so I backed them. I won't be doing that tonight. Tonight they retire Brett Favre's jersey. Bart Starr will also be in attendance. So basically you have the three greatest Green Bay quarterbacks in one building. Aaron Rodgers won't be able to attend that halftime ceremony, but you can damn well be sure he's trying to have his impact on the field. So Green Bay at 7-3 looking strong. Now you have the Giants. Very interesting. Giants, Philly, Washington, and now the Dallas Cowboys, all in the mix. I think the NFL loves it when the NFC East is being talked about. Not that they're going to be talked about as, oh, they're the team with 14-2 and 11-5 getting in. Maybe they're the team with a 7-9 team getting in this year. And I think that starts today. I'll show you how that unfolds. Next, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who lost one last week, but they continue to run the ball well. Teddy Bridgewater seems to get better every week. He's finding these open receivers. His accuracy is outstanding. If they can tighten some things up on defense, Brett Favre, I get it. Eddie Lacy had a good day, too. They didn't stop the run. That was something I thought was going to be really detrimental to Green Bay last week, but they got the run game going, and it really put Minnesota on its heels. A couple key first downs down the stretch. They couldn't stop that run. So Minnesota, certainly some work, but they're in a good place, good spot to be. And Atlanta, this is a team that continues to hold on. I think they started off 5-0. They're at 6-4 now. Another home loss this past week to Indy was my upset special, and it's not going to get easier for Atlanta. And also keep in mind, they have a fifth-place schedule. They had the second or third pick. They were 4-12 last year. So their schedule is easy, but they're not closing on games they should. Devontae Freeman being out now, I think he's still in the first phase of concussion protocol. That's not boding well for them. We'll see what Tevin Campbell and the crew can get running with him out. Then you have at 7 a couple teams I really like. Tampa Bay, I like them to make a run at this with Atlanta being in the position they're in. I also like Seattle. And Seattle, I know they have a tough road, and I know they haven't been overly impressive. 5-5, certainly not. But this is a stat that really stuck with me with Seattle is they are 5-5, and they have led in every game they played in the fourth quarter. So at some point in the fourth quarter, they have had the lead in every game they've played in, and yet they're 5-5. So this is a team that just doesn't know how to close. I believe with some other people I'm hearing, in whether it's on the NFL Network or on my Sirius XM listening, I wouldn't want to play Seattle if they get into the playoffs, because they're a team that continues to figure it out. They certainly have that Super Bowl leadership. Russell Wilson, the defense, the running game looks impeccable. Now you got Thomas Rawls coming in. It seems to be, actually an upgrade from Marshawn, who's had a bit of a down year in terms of what his production has been. So Tampa Bay, Seattle, two teams that scare me. Tampa Bay's defense continues to get better, only allowing, I think it was it 14 yards? I don't know if I have that game right. No, that was a different team, but nonetheless, Tampa Bay looked outstanding last week. 200-yard rushing on the ground with Doug Martin, 5 touchdown passes for Jameis Winston, starting to get very comfortable, not turning over the ball as much, and really making some great touch throws in that red zone. So Tampa Bay looks like a team that could be. Washington, I think it gets hard for them. This week will be a tough game. Next week they have Dallas at home. I think Dallas is going to start to make their push. You have St. Louis, who no quarterback. Everybody knows about Gurley. They're loading the box. I mean, the guy's still going to get 1,000 yards as a rookie. After missing the first 4 games or being, eased in the first 4 games, he's on pace to anyway, pending another injury. And I mean, the ceiling's high for him, but they need to get some support around. They need a better offensive line. They need some quarterback. They need a passing threat. Right now, it's just too easy to stop St. Louis. Then you have Philadelphia, 4-6, New Orleans 4-6, Chicago 4-6, and then Detroit, San Francisco, and Dallas at 3-7. Now, the reason I go all the way down the list here is because I got to tell you, I'm going to take a shot with Dallas here, and you'll see that coming up when we get to the picks. But I think Dallas at 3-7. I mean, Romo is undefeated. He just gets it done, man. Their offense last week was 60 yards better than the last 3 games, and it's his first go back. I'll get to it. But today it's Thanksgiving. We have 3 games. Thanksgiving's about, you got your family, you got your friends, you got what you're thankful for, you got the parades on, you got going to families' houses. It's conversation, it's drinking, it's enjoying yourselves, it's arguing with your aunt that doesn't know what side of the political fence you're on. All these things. Have fun. Be glad you're together. Be glad you're above the dirt. I mean, it's so precious. We're so lucky. We're so fortunate. And certainly remember those men and women, service members that are abroad right now. I had a couple people, I texted them this morning. I don't even know what time it is in Afghanistan or Kuwait where they are, but just saying, hey, thank you for your service. It goes a long way. If you know a service member, please say something about it today. So that's what Thanksgiving is for me. I'm thankful for so much. My home, my wife, the house that we built together. It's just, I'm so blessed to have the family I have. And hopefully all this thankfulness that's going around will shed some karma back onto my picks, because I can tell you I've continued to struggle and try to keep my head above water here against the spread. So right now I have it against the spread after going another 2-4 last week. I'm 17-22-3, and that's since week 5, kids, if you're keeping track. If you're like, those numbers don't add up. I pick 6 games a week. Now we're adding in 9 this week because of the Thanksgiving special, which you're watching right now. 27-15 straight up. 5-1-1 in the upset specials. And last week, Indy has come in. The only upset special that hasn't come in has been the Rams when they went to Green Bay. They got blown out. Too many turnovers that day from Foles. And then the push I had was when the Giants lost by 3 on that game-winning field goal from down in New Orleans. But what do we have this week? We have Chip Kelly and the Philadelphia Eagles losing 2 in a row. They're headed to Detroit, where Detroit has won 2 in a row. Eagles are getting 2.5. I have the over/under at 46.5. This is what I'm wearing the Detroit jersey. I know, but this guy ain't coming off the bus today, or not even the bus. He's not driving in because it's a home game. The Detroit Lions wish they had Barry Sanders. I think they're last in the league in rushing, only 711 yards, and they have a 3-headed monster back there, and Abdullah Riddick and Bell. They're just not getting it done. Offensively, Calvin's a little banged up, but still a nice target. I just think the Eagles are going to rebound from last week. Pathetic performance at home. I know Chip Kelly, people say he's on the hot seat. I don't believe that's the case. I think that he's a great coach. I think that great coaches make adjustments, whether it be in-game or week to week. Last week that didn't really show itself. Granted, you had some turnovers from Sanchez, which continues to be the theme as a Jets fan. You guys know. I mean, he threw another touchdown pick six this past week. It seems to me every time he suits it up, he does that. Hopefully not the case today. I got the Eagles getting 2.5. I like them running the ball with DeMarco. I like them getting him involved. I like the offense being a little bit more sound, and I certainly like the defense finding itself. Now, I like Stafford. He does very well at home. He does well on. He's very comfortable in playing, but I just don't like if the Lions were favored, I'd be taking the Lions. I'm taking the Eagles today because I really think this is where the NFL and everything works out for the NFL. It always does. This is where the NFL is going to get that mess that's in the NFC East. The Eagles still in it. The Giants still in it. The Cowboys still in it. The Washington, everybody's still in it. They want that down the stretch. So I think it starts today with the Eagles. Give me the Eagles, 28-24. I like them today. Then you have your 3 o'clock game. This is right when everybody's getting comfortable, at least around my place. Some people eat early during that Detroit game. We sit down right around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And that's when the Cowboys and Panthers, you got Cam Newton, the 10-0 Carolina Panthers headed to Dallas. A great atmosphere to play. Always you got the 6-legged turkey that they're giving out at the end of the game for the game, the players of the game. Fox does that. What can you say? I mean, Carolina's been unbelievable. Cam last week in the red zone, 5 touchdown passes, no rushing TD. So now what do? You're guarding against the run. You know he can throw it. He's really comfortable in his role. He's really embraced the team leadership. This is what gets it for me. They're going to a place where, I mean, think about it. I'm wearing a Barry Sanders jersey. I'm a huge Jets fan. But when I grew up, I loved Barry Sanders. And you can't tell me there's not one 10-year-old kid in that stadium. Yeah, they love Tony Romo, but they love them some Cam Newton. And it's going to be very hard. I think this is going to be an atmosphere in which there's going to be some open arms for Cam. Yeah, there'll be your boos. But I could see this being a game where if he's doing well, the crowd you could probably see getting behind him. I know that sounds blasphemous, especially in the NFL, but I'm telling you, Cam Newton is a very likable player across several, whether it's people that are seasoned and have played the game or people that are very novice and just love watching it on Sundays. He's got a good spirit behind him. With that said, I'm going to be picking against Cam today. I know the Panthers are getting one, but I think this is the start of the Romo effect. Came in last week, a noticeable difference, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, they are now allowing 14 points or less in their last 3 games. I think that bodes well for Dallas. Dallas at the beginning of the season, people were kind of, what is this team going to be like? Then the injuries happened. I think now a lot of people are sleeping on them. I think it's a short week. I think this is the first week in months that nobody's talking from Dallas. Even Greg Hardy, who is playing his former team, had nothing to say, but, it's a faceless team. It's just another game. So all the right things kind of coming from Dallas. And you know me, I'm not a big Dallas fan. I actually said earlier that I wouldn't be picking them ever again. But today I think the Cowboys win it. I think it's a close game, 22-19 Cowboys. Real dogfight in there. Romo, if they win today, this will be the 3rd time in his career in which he's beat an undefeated team after Week 11. He did it with the Colts. He's done it with the New Orleans Saints, and today would be the Carolina Panthers. I think it should be a great game. I'm hoping for a defensive score in there, special teams, something that makes us really. I always think back to that Leon Lett game where he came back against the Dolphins and he smacked the ball, and then the Dolphins won the game. It was just a crazy, and everybody's like, "Well, what happened?" Or the Jerome Bettis coin toss game where he clearly calls tails or heads, and the guy looks at him and he's like, "You called the wrong thing." And we're all just shaking our heads on Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to some drama with that. Let's go to the final game. So give me the Cowboys 22-19 in the second game. Final game, huge game here, and I say huge game not because of the implications necessarily. Yes, they're division rivals, but it's really been a one-sided matchup, especially when Jay Cutler comes to Lambeau. He's 0-4. He's thrown a bevy of interceptions there. I think 3 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He's been sacked a number of times. Yes, he is Alshon Jeffrey. Yes, Matt Forte will be back in some fashion. We know Langford can get it done. But tonight is Brett Favre night at Lambeau Field. It's Thanksgiving. It's Brett Favre night. It's prime time. Bart Starr's in the building. I just can't think of any way, unless Aaron Rodgers gets injured, that this game isn't going towards Green Bay just to kind of celebrate the night. We've seen it in Atlanta. We've seen it, we've seen it in New Orleans on Steve Gleason night. Just recently, when it almost looked like the day. Remember when they opened the dome after Katrina? It was very similar. So I like them today. Give me Green Bay. Give me Green Bay big. I'm thinking 30-20, 35-20. High scoring game, but something to look forward to. And with that, I'm at my 20-minute mark. I could probably talk all day. That's the disaster of sport. It just is like many things in life. Endless conversation to be had. But have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you're with your friends, your family. Enjoy yourselves. It's a great holiday. It's my favorite holiday of the year. Yes, I love Christmas too because it's family, but I really think Thanksgiving is about all the right things, giving thanks. And I think about all the people that have given for us to have what we have today, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you to everybody. I hope your picks go well. I'll be on FanDuel today. I got some lineups going there. I'll be posting those up. Certainly if they're successful. If they're not, there's nothing you need to know about it. I've never won the million, so we're still sitting here doing it, just like the rest of you. But other than that, have a great day. God bless, and God bless America and your families. Thank you so much.